Shabbat Shalom. When I was in high school, I think somewhere around junior year, my mom took us, my brother and I, on a trip to Paris. Big deal. And being the 16, 17-year-old that I was, I made it my business that entire trip to pretend like I, was French. And I walked in front of my family the whole time, right? Because I thought, if I walk 10 steps in front of the obvious Americans who look exactly like me, no one would think that I go with them. They'd think that I'm like some super cool guy, and I would get asked to become a spy and engage in some sort of action movie kind of situation. And my commitment to looking like I belonged was so deep that the first morning I was there, when the waitress came to breakfast and my brother and mother super embarrassingly had to speak in English, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to speak in French. I know no French to this day. Never learned it, never have. And so I tried to order as best I could, and the waitress saying things in French started pointing in the menu, and I said, yes, oh, yes, oui, and pointed at this and that. And so later she brought me a ham and cheese omelet and a beer. But not wanting to look like I didn't belong, I pushed the ham and cheese to the side, drank the beer, my first one. I know I'm from Wisconsin, but it was still my first one, and had kind of a rough day of sightseeing when that was my whole breakfast. This commitment to feeling like I fit in, to feeling like there is nothing different about me, like I could handle it, is quite common, I imagine, in 16-year-olds. And it is also something that is inculcated in all of us at a very young age. Here, we want to feel like we fit in. We want to feel like we are perfect. There is absolutely nothing wrong with us, and any faults or flaws we might have, we try to conceal as best we can. We do this in our personal lives. We do this at school. We do this in business. This is the coin of the realm in many ways, especially in a world of being, insta-perfect. Being perfect is something that we all want to be. And we hide anything about us that seems like it might not fit in. And there are times where that's important. We have to feel like we are powerful and strong. And we want to put our best foot forward and our best face forward. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when that comes at the cost of relationship or getting better that it becomes a problem. And there's a moment that we read about, and actually, Ruth, that you mentioned in your Dvar Torah in the Parsha this morning. So the people, as they leave Egypt, God makes God's presence known in two ways: a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire at night. And these things are going to go before the people. And we're told in the Torah that the pillar of cloud is there to walk with them, or perhaps to lead them. And the pillar of fire is there, laha'ir otam, to light the Israelites, to give them light. And this is read by many of our commentaries as being this sort of stance of power. Or Chaim says that the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire serve two purposes. One, he says, is to take care of the people, right? The pillar of cloud gives them shade, the pillar of fire gives them light. And the other, he says, is to show God's power to anyone who might see. Because if you see a bunch of refugees in the desert trying to make their way to a better place, an unscrupulous person might think, oh, there's a target. Those are some people that I can get something out of, or I can do something bad to. But if you see those same people with a giant pillar of fire, you might leave them alone. So Or Chaim says that this pillar of fire is meant to do exactly what I've been talking about: show the strength and power of God and strength and power of Israel, that they have this pillar of fire. But I want to tell you a short story from the Talmud. Rebbe Yossi was once walking at night It was pitch black, he says. And I saw a man with a torch in his hands walking down the way. And as the person gets closer to Rabbi Yossi, carrying this torch, Rabbi Yossi notices that they're walking kind of slowly. And as they get closer still and walk past Rabbi Yossi realizes that the person carrying the torch is blind and can't see. And Rabbi Yossi stops the person and says, "Excuse me, can I stop you for a second?" The man says, "Of course." And he says, "I can't help but notice it looks like you can't see." And the man says, "That's true, I can't see." And he says, "Well, then why are you carrying this torch with you? The light's not going to do you any good." And the man turns to Rabbi Yossi and says, "You're right, I don't carry a torch because the light helps me see. I carry the torch because it helps other people see me and see that I'm blind and realize that I need help avoiding the pits and traps in the path. And that's why I carry this torch." And I wonder if the pillar of fire in the desert maybe filled that same purpose. Perhaps it was not, like Or HaChaim said, this fire that was meant to show the power of God. But perhaps when the Torah says, "L'ha'ir otam," to light the Israelites, it means to show them in light, so that anyone seeing them would see that there is this refugee people walking through the desert in need of help, and perhaps come and find them. And in our community here, and our communities beyond this wall, there is, as I've said, a real push to pretend to be perfect, to conceal every flaw that we have. But would that we have the bravery and courage to hold that torch and light the flaws that we have, to show them so that maybe someone could help us and see that we're struggling. Because some flaws are there for all to see, and some things that make us different are clear, like when you don't speak French in a restaurant. But some are not. They're hard to find and they're hard to know. But if we have the courage to make our weaknesses out there for others, then hopefully others will have the compassion to help us. Because that's what it means to be in community as we're all walking down a path at night together, hopefully helping each other along the way. Shabbat Shalom.